Iloista maanantaita, hyvät MotorXpressin katsojat. Tervetuloa moottoriurheilun vauhdikkaaseen maailmaan. Ja sitä vauhtiahan riittää, vaikka ei formuloita tai rallia ole viikonloppuna ajettu. Sen sijaan on taisteltu RallyCrossin maailmanmestaruudesta, joka hyvästä yrityksestä huolimatta valui Ruotsiin. Tässä lähetyksessä pääsemme kuulemaan myös Yamaha R3 kuljettaja Anastasia Kovalenkon ajatuksia, mutta nyt ensin menemme uutisiin. Kristiina, ole hyvä.
RallyCrossin supercar-luokan maailmanmestaruus ratkaistiin Etelä-Afrikassa. Mestaruuteen ajoi ruotsalainen Timi Hansen. Ratkaisu oli tiukka, sillä sekä Timi Hansen että Norjan Andreas Bakkerud olivat molemmat 211 pisteessä kisan jälkeen. Lopulta Hansenin 4 voittoa takasi miehelle mestaruuden. Lusikkansa soppaan laittoi myös Timin veli Kevin, joka oli MM-sarjan 3. Niklas Grönholm oli todella ratkaisevassa roolissa mestaruuden suhteen, sillä suomalainen ajoi Etelä-Afrikassa voittoon ajaen melko täydellisen viikonlopun. Kakkoseksi ajanut mestaruustaistelussa mukana ollut Bakkerud jäi Grönholmille 2 sekuntia. RX2-luokassa Oliver Eriksson kaasutti mestaruuteen 43 pisteen turvin. Toiseksi MM-sarjassa tuli Ben-Philip Gundersen ja 3. oli Jesse Kallio. Eriksen voitti myös Etelä-Afrikassa käydyn kilpailun jättäen toiseksi tulleen Fraser McConnellin 2 sekunnin päähän ja kolmanneksi tulleen Sami-Matti Trogenin vajaan 4 sekunnin päähän. Viikonloppuna ratkaistaan rallin MM-sarjan valmistajien mestaruus, kun ajetaan kauden viimeinen osakilpailu Australiassa. Kuljettajien mestaruus ratkesi jo edellisessä kilpailussa Oittanakille. Valmistajien mestaruudesta kamppailua käyvät Hyundai, jolla pisteitä on kasassa 380, ja Toyota, jonka pistemäärä on 362. Formula 1 kauden viimeistä edellinen osakilpailu kilpaillaan Brasilian São Paulossa tulevana viikonloppuna. Taistelua käydään enää kuljettajien MM-sarjan pronssista, josta kamppailee 3 kuljettajaa. Ferrarin Charles Leclerc pitää nyt 3. sijaa hallussaan 249 pisteellä, Red Bullin Max Verstappen on perässä 235 pisteellä ja Leclercin tallitoveri Sebastian Vettel 230 pisteellä 5. Sao Paulossa järjestetyssä F1-festivaalissa muistettiin Imolan radalla San Marinossa vuonna 1994 menehtynyttä Formula 1 kolminkertaista maailmanmestaria Ayrton Sennaa. Paikalla olivat legendaariset brasilialaiskuljettajat Felipe Massa ja Emerson Fittipaldi.
Hello everybody. We are now doing this in English because we're such an international company. So I actually have a guest today, and she's Anastassia Kovalenko, also known as AK-47. Coolest name ever and racing name. You can't deny that, right? So Anastasia is riding Italian R3 Cup Series, at least the past season. And I heard that you have some cool future plans for the next year.
Yeah, actually I'm now negotiating with different teams about my future plans, but it was a really interesting news that were actually announced just like a couple days ago at EICMA, a big exhibition of motorcycles, that a Women's European Cup is going to be launched, and I really hope that I can take part of it. It will be also a 300 series, but I will see maybe besides of that I will still running another like series with men. Because as we know that all the international big series and the world championships, there are no like female class. So always I've been riding with a man.
But I think that actually develops you as a driver when you're racing against guys, because like I assume, right?
Yeah, I think like in motorsports, yeah, of course men are more like muscular and maybe tougher, but if we watch like 300 series, 300cc bikes, it's actually more about tactic, and tactics not about strength. I think motorsports is always about tactics. And for female riders, why I think 300 series are good is because you actually have to be quite lightweighted, because if you are heavy, then you lose in the top speed. So I like what these new series are developing so well, and maybe that's why also the Women's Cup is open, because for female riders it's always easier to start with lighter and not so powerful bike than to go straight away like on a 600 or a 1000 bike. I think it's a mistake.
I know. I know. I actually got my ass whooped by a 12-year-old on a 300cc bike while I had a 1,000-liter bike. So she knows what she's talking about. But that's really interesting that you get this female series still, like, because Formula One did that a year ago or something like that. And that hasn't really been for motorbikes before, and that seems quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's like it's getting more and more popular around women. There are actually a lot of female riders, but there isn't any championship where they can gather all with female riders, and I think it's also the future thing in the sport because, yeah, like we can talk about equality, and but I think it's a next step if a woman can have her own championship, and maybe it will become like an even bigger thing, like maybe world championship at what point or something.
And I hope it's like it will change the like a hobby as it is, so it's not just a guy's thing. It's more like everybody's thing. And well, I've noticed so far in Estonia that there's much more female riders, which I think is a lot of because of you, because like you're in the news all the time with the motorbike, so you're like, hey, chicks can do it as well, so why the hell shouldn't I?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, when I just started with racing, like it's interesting thing. Nobody in my family has been racing, but I always had like this kind of feeling that I always like something extreme, and with racing, I always thought that women cannot race. It's just a male-dominant thing, and I never thought that I will ever get on a bike. But what happened is on Facebook, I don't know how it came up. It's like a destiny. I saw a post of a woman rider who was riding in Italy, and she was competing with a man, and I was like, wow, actually women can also take part of the sport. And after that I went crazy, and I was like, I need a bike, and so that's where it all started. And I went to a track by myself on this small cut track where I still ride, Aravetta Kardirada in Estonia, and all the time I fell down because I didn't know what I was doing. I just crashed all the time, but step by step, I got now where I am today.
Yeah. That's how it usually goes, where you have drivers who have not crashed and the ones who have crashed. So actually, next thing I want to, because obviously you're following MotoGP and so on, I want to talk about Marquez brothers. How crazy is that?
Yeah, like it's, I remember the year, it was 2014, when again both of them won the championships, Marquez in MotoGP and his younger brother Moto3, and now again the history repeats. But of course now what we are seeing with Marquez and his brother, we are like seeing actually the history. Like every race we see like a new, some mark point is reached, like so many poles, so many first positions, so many races. And I think it's very interesting to actually follow both of them. And as I know, I think the younger Marquez is in negotiating with Pramac Ducati, but not for the next season, but in the future maybe it would be interesting to see both brothers in MotoGP.
Exactly, and see those last lap battles where either Marquez is going to win.
Because yeah, it's important actually to point out that now Ducatis will run 4 factory bikes, because all the bikes will be the same. Now some riders are riding like last year models, not like the latest ones. So and also Yamaha is coming out like with 4 factory bikes. So for Honda, it will be very interesting next year.
I've actually heard that the Honda is actually quite clumsy bike to drive, so it would be interesting to see Marquez on a different bike. Like, would he be even better?
Yeah, I think it's like the thing that everybody wants to see. Like, how would Marquez do on a Yamaha, or how would Marquez do on a Ducati? But I don't know, the future will tell if he will ever leave like Honda, because of course Honda is really holding him, and I think I would be also if I would be them. So yeah, it's actually a very interesting thing to see also how our manufacturers will develop their bikes, because as we can see, the Honda is not actually the best bike, and it's done just for Marquez, because Marquez can take those lean angles. He can like push the front end as he pushes, and this is what is important, that the Honda is developing the bike for one rider. So, and I know that last season, the Marquez had his shoulder surgery and he was actually out of some tests. So the bike was not developed very well. So I don't know if this year maybe Honda will do another step forward. But as we see, like with Lorenzo, I think it will be now the Valencia test, where he will decide if he will even continue or not.
Yeah, that combination doesn't work at all.
And when this another factory seat maybe will be left open.
It's going to be interesting to see who's going to grab that, because like Lorenzo is not doing great at the moment. By actually talking people who are not doing that great, let's talk about Rossi, the god.
Yeah, actually the last race in Malaysia, he was quite okay.
Yeah,
not bad. But for Rossi, yeah, we actually have to point out that Yamaha is not so good. Still, like we have big issues with their top speed. If we see Phillip Island, like Rossi was doing well, but on a straight line. Everybody with Ducati is going like he is on a Moto3 bike, just passing him like this. So I think for Rossi, the next year is very important on how Yamaha will develop their bike. So the Valencia test that will come after the race. So this is the most important thing. And I think depending on that, what bike he will be on, he will decide if he will carry on or he will retire after 2020. This is just my opinion, but it will be very sad to see him retiring, because if you watch all the paddocks and every race is how many other like Rossi fans, and a lot of people just come for him. It doesn't matter for them on which place he is, but he's such a legend for them, for a lot of people. So I don't know how the MotoGP will even handle this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Schumacher quitting at some point. There were just so many fans following him, and we can see the same thing with Kimi Räikkönen in Formula 1 at the moment. Like, he's not doing great, but he still has really strong fan
people
base.
like him for his character. Like Kimi Räikkönen is like a really nice pal, and with really like he's very different from our riders. And also the Rossi, people like him for him, like even not for his racing, but for his character. So he's in the hearts of a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. So last race is up. Can we expect anything interesting?
Yeah, Valencia is actually one of my favorite tracks. Even maybe it's my favorite track, because it's you have to be very smooth there. It doesn't have like crazy straights and crazy braking points. Also for MotoGP, the last sector is very interesting when you put like a lot of gas and you just slide out. It's like very, very nice curve. But I think, of course, Marquez will dominate, and I think Ducatis will be also quite fast. But still, I think the third place in the championship is what have to be decided. But my opinion is that Vinales will take it. The problem of Vinales was always here, that his starts were not great. He was getting his like confidence only in the middle of a race, but in the middle of a race it was already too late to get to the front. And also, like there are 2 or 3 races where somebody just crashed into him and took him out. So he had a lot of bad luck. But if we watch like the second half of the season, I think Yamaha has developed their bike and Vinales has stepped up his game a lot. But yeah, Rossi but also, if you know the new name, Quartararo, I think it's like the next big name in MotoGP. Like a lot of people I think we will hear this name a lot, his name.
For sure. He's a rookie this year, right?
Yeah, he's a rookie, and like it's amazing what has he done. But if we watch his career, when he started, when he was just a young boy, and all the small series, he won everything. On the small bikes, he was winning everything, and like what was possible to win. And when he came to Moto3, he was also quite fast, but I think he didn't have a good luck. And in Moto2, like nobody saw him. I think he won only 1 race in Catalonia, and nobody. I don't know even how this Petronas Yamaha saw his talent. But sometimes, those guys who are riders, we see talent in our riders. So, and it's actually very interesting, I think, that Quartararo will also actually running the factory bike next season, like the latest model. So I think he will be a big championship rival for Marquez.
Yeah, that would be great to have somebody else to win than Marquez, if I'm honest. It's getting a bit Formula One with Hamilton. Similar.
True.
Do you have any interesting, like you mentioned Valencia is your favorite track. Do you have any interesting facts about the track, like something you like, you dislike, or?
Yeah, as I said, I really like that it's very smooth track, and for me the first corner is really nice. It's actually like very fast, and I remember one year when Marquez saved actually the front. It was also I think it was Marquez Dovizioso championship. They were like running for this championship, and the Valencia was the last round. So I remember watching, and I still can't imagine like how Marquez is doing those saves.
Oh, it's insane.
I think even another MotoGP riders are watching the screens, the replay in slow motion, and they're like thinking, how is it even possible?
Exactly.
How? Like when I am out there, I crash.
Yeah, and I think like 99% of the people will drop the bike in that kind of situation. Like how much leg strength you need to actually push the bike back up, and it's just insane.
That's true. And yeah, I think, and as I like the last sector where you actually put a lot of gas and spin the rear out, not on the 300s, but on the bigger bikes. Yeah. I think those who have who were riding. Also, a funny fact, I was watching like some photos from riders who were riding in Valencia, MotoGP riders, and they were actually riding on this, how do I say, the curb, like you know, like inside, like a curb. And I remember I showed this picture to another rider who I was on a test, and he went on the curb and he crashed. Because, you know, when MotoGP riders were riding, the curbs are painted and they are like in a good condition. But when like there are regular tests, the curbs can be very slippery. Yeah. So don't do this. Don't ride on a curb in Valencia. You will crash.
That's for all your future racers. Remember that. All right, Anastasia, it's been a pleasure. Let's hope really all the best for the Women Championship. It's going to be interesting to watch. As I assume, like R3 is going to be the new class. Like.
Yeah, I think 300 series are a new thing, and like in Europe and also, for example, in Asia, the 300 bikes are very, very popular now. It's like a new thing. People are more getting on smaller bikes rather than a bigger bike. So it's because it's easier to ride in a town, and it's not so fuel consuming or tire consuming, and also on the track. It's a very good starting point to learn. Yeah. To learn the corner speed, to learn the braking, and without crashing yourself hard.
So when you have a leader bike, like it's like you just use like 1 or 5% of the potential. So with the 300 bike, you can just go like as fast as you can without even breaking the speed limit. So it's even nice for the road as well. I know I'm not the guy to tell you that because I have 1,000 and I'm an idiot who went immediately to 1,000. But for the ones who are considering, try the 300. That's a nice bike. All right, thank you. Hopefully we will see you again in the show.
Yeah, thank you.